just want to keep track of my parts, and it's pretty easy to do because you should know which ones are your old pieces, okay? I've got that rubber gasket here. I'm going to have to put this on first. And it fits on kind of tight. That's how you want it. I'm just going to fish that up there, push it back and forth. That's my first step. Just push it all the way tight to there, okay? Now that's not all the case, because with this type of install, you see there the washer, there's no way the washer is going to be right up against the porcelain anyways, because there's rubber right there. You know, so then you'd have the washer there and the nut. Okay, but even on the directions that I've got, I looked at the directions, they want me to put this rubber washer there, then the metal washer, then the nut. I'll have to look at those directions again and see, because I don't know if I'm really going to do that. I may just put it on there like that. But in any case, look at your directions, read your directions, look at your existing toilet, the way it comes apart, and 9 out of 10 times you put it back together the same way and you'll be fine. Now, of course, if you ever get into an instance, maybe you don't have this type, maybe it's something else, and it's causing you to put a nut or a washer directly on the porcelain. You know, you got these rubber washers, put that down first like I was explaining before. Okay? Way better. You see what I was talking about? See that rib right there? That little nib? Right there. That's the old one. Now see, the new one doesn't have that. And, you know, I did a test. I put the bolt in there from the inside of the tank. When I tighten that up, if you can imagine this coming out of the hole here, okay? And if I put the nut on there and tighten that up, and I push that really super tight, it bulges right there. Can you see that? See how it bulges? And it kind of makes the washer or the gasket look like this one. See how that's got that rib? You tighten this up. See how it makes that same thing there? And that's what I'm going to do. Just going to tighten it up from the inside. And voila. Now I know these new ones were longer. See there? That much longer. And maybe you can see it that way better. I'm going to go ahead and use these. And I think that this is going to stick up just a hair higher than what was in there before. Not by much though. I think it's actually going to be about the same. But anytime you get a chance to use new things, you know, that come with the package, go ahead and do that. But like I say, if one of the ones on the tank next to the door opening as I look in there, if I have to, I'll go ahead and put the shorter one in there. Now these are brass, and brass doesn't really rust like steel bolts. And this green on there is just a discoloration that the water puts on brass, but brass lasts quite a long time. It's not really, doesn't really rust like steel. Okay, so I'll be fine if I end up having to reuse those. Now let's talk about this just a little bit more. Oh yeah, there's more to say about it. You know, that was the existing one. And I was fortunate enough to find one that's going to fit in there. All right? I had to go to 3 hardware stores to find that. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about. Would I have to put it back together like that if I couldn't find that? You remember what I was saying? If you've been watching my videos, and I hope you have, because I got quite a few out there that'll help you save money on all kinds of stuff. But I've said, you know, there's usually 2 ways to do something. If you can't figure it out one way, think of some other way, and chances are you'll figure out how to do it a second way. What do I mean by that? Well, here you go. Here's an example. Let's say we couldn't find this. You've gone all over the place and you're beside yourself. You don't want to have to special order this. You got to get your job done. You need to start using your toilet. Maybe this is the only toilet you got. You know, what could you do? Well, here's the option. Okay, here's your piece that fits in the tank. Now, this one here that I got, obviously it came with the whole set. It came with that. It came with my other rubber bushing. This was my new rubber bushing that I put on here already. It came with new bolts, new washers, new bolts, all that. A new plastic nut here that I'm going to use. But let's say you couldn't find a whole thing. What to do? Well, you can buy just this ring here separate. You buy the same size as the one that I took off. You can put that on there. If it's a little bit thicker, that's okay. You can put that one on there too. Okay? You can buy that separately. And where these holes are here, you can buy all that stuff separately. There's different thicknesses of washers and stuff, and they'll sell that as a package with the nut, the washer, the bolt, all the things. And maybe you only have 2 holes in your toilet. Maybe your hole's right here and one right there. You don't have a 3-hole pattern like this one here. Well, that's fine too. They'll sell that to you as well. And that's why you wouldn't really need this section here. You could do this all separately. Now see this outside rim here. You can imagine just cutting this part off. And all there was a donut. I call this kind of like a donut. It's not really a donut. It's just a big washer rubber gasket. Okay, they have those separate too. I could have bought that, and I could have pushed this in there, and then put this gasket, just the round one, and tighten it up with the nut, a new nut or the old nut that I pulled off. Okay, look just like that, except without these prongs on here, and that would be cut off. Okay, then you just do these separately. I went to the store and they had 3 bolts. I could have bought 3 bolts with different rubber washers. They're a lot thicker because they're set up differently, because obviously you're not going to have this end on here, right? So that was the second way how I could have done this. Now, you have to think about that kind of stuff, but I kind of wanted to match this up as best I could. And since I found this, voila. You know, this came with all the parts and everything, and it fits just perfect. So I'm going to use that. Okay? But that's what I say. There's always, generally, at least 2 ways to do something. And there's your example for this toilet tank connection.